聞いてください。ダダダダダダダダダダ。飛び交う視線ロックして変貌、怪しい闇で打ち抜いた衝動。その間わずか 0.23 秒、歯向かう術はないまさに先行。いっそ花になって蝶になって夜になって踊れ。花になって蝶になって夜になって踊れ。花になって蝶になって夜になって踊れ。花になって蝶になって夜になって。大体なんだかんだ来る絶頂、歯止めは聞かず興奮と熱狂。ぶっ飛ぶやつかけてよ DJ、 目の前急に地獄のダンスホール。ひらりひらり心がひらり、夜のビートに身を任せ。はらりはらり乱れてはらり震えるリズムさ。ダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダ 心に体に刻む君のビート調子に乗りすぎてごめんけど謝る前に散々踊れよそうだ花になって蝶になって夜になって散々踊れよ左左回って左林人に誘われてはらりはらり壊れてはらり震えるダンスさうてダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダふらりほろりほろり涙がほろり心震えるほどうてよそうダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダ It's me, your babe, and I made something that's real to show you how I feel. Hello, hello, it's me. I will paint my words of love.
Hello everybody, welcome to another 4WC match. Today we have Norway versus Vietnam lined up here for us, which are two teams who, for the side of Norway, do have a bit more of a 4WC history, whereas we see Vietnam here qualifying for the first time since, I believe, 2023, where they did seed, I believe it was 26th in that year, correct me if I am wrong. And this is a matchup which is, for this year, it's very, very close in seeding. We have Norway sitting at seed 20 and Vietnam at seed 22. So definitely a match that can go pretty much all the way. But it is also a match where I feel both of these teams do have a bit more of a, let's say, more defined picking strategy. But we'll most likely see Vietnam opting, I'd say, a bit more into the mechanics, whilst Norway, with the likes of Yogspai and Anthony W, will definitely opt into something a little bit more gimmick-focused. But let's see how this match will end up going. But just a couple more things on Norway, just letting you know, all of the roster on Norway, we have Yogspai, Anthony W, Bomas, Lolo K, Mr. Wang, all Reid Horimiya, and Rhetoric. Whereas for the side of Vietnam, we do have another guy, Kazazaic, I think that's how you say it, Hotcat 190, Han, Love Katagiri, Real Shin, the Nagoyan Grape, and Wallet. I don't know how to say that properly, apologies for that, but as you can see, both of these teams at the bottom of their group so far. Norway hasn't played a match just yet, alongside Russia in that group, and Vietnam did lose to Ukraine, I believe, 5-3. And this is a very important match for both of these teams. Vietnam would definitely want to take this win in order to have a chance of making it out in the group, well, at least in the top 2 of their group. But this is, I believe, the challenger stage, so regardless, they will at least advance into the bracket stage. But the roles are coming out now. Yogs winning that role for Norway. And as for the banning strategy, we will most likely see Vietnam opting into ban something like Hidden 2 or Hidden 3, even not wanting to have to face up against the sides of Yogspai and Anthony W or something like a Hidden 3. Whereas for the side of Norway, we might see something like a DT2 possibly getting banned. And it also does depend how they are feeling on something like the DT3 or Hard Rock. Maybe we could even see one of the Hard Rocks getting banned, Hard Rock 1 being quite not the Hard Rock, I'm sorry, the Hard Rock 2 having some pretty interesting patterns to say the least. But we will soon find out what these teams will opt for bans. And there's also Nomad 2, which I can definitely see Norway banning. But they are pretty strong at something like that, so it honestly could be, they could leave it as a bit of a toss-up between them and the side of Vietnam. But if we just look at qualifier results, Vietnam did, I believe, 3-way FC the DT2 in qualifiers. No, sorry, not the DT2, the DT1 even, I think it was. Yeah, DT1. They seeded first on the DT1, so another possible ban for the side of Norway is a DT1. Which is kind of interesting to see. Usually at the C22 mark, you don't really see many teams getting top 3s in anything, let alone top 1 in something like the DT1. But then again, this DT1 is a bit easier, it's a little more different, so might also play a little bit more into Norway's strengths. But it does remain at the AR 10.3 mark. But ABBA ban order, Vietnam will get the first ban, and they do opt in for that Hidden 2 ban, which makes perfect sense when you have someone like Yogspai. He's been around in 4WC for, I think, maybe since 2020, I would like to say, maybe even a little earlier. But very, very well known for playing lower in general. And also another pro ban I even forgot to mention is No 1-5 for the side of Vietnam. But now the double ban coming from Norway, I would probably guess they would ban into mechanics here. Yep, DT2, DT1 makes perfect sense for the side of Norway. And the final ban for the side of Vietnam could realistically be either Hidden 3 or number 5, I guess. Yep, and it is at number 5. So, fairly expected bans from both teams. Not really any surprise being thrown in, no curveballs or anything of the sorts. Now, getting into the first pick, Norway has had both of those lower AR gimmick maps banned out. So, as for a first pick, they could potentially try maybe something like the Hidden 3. Already getting into a very, very strong pick, I believe, for both. Especially Yokes and Anthony W. I believe we might also see some, like, Rhetoric potentially coming in for that Hidden 3, so they do definitely have a really good roster for that map. But you also do have things like Free Mode 2, where they would also have some very solid hard work in hidden plays, and then you should also have another very solid normal player. But Norway just taking that time for their pick. Want to make sure you start off the match in the best way possible. Not dropping any early breakpoints if it can be avoided. For maps that I think might be floated, I honestly think Node 1 is something that neither team will necessarily want to pick into unless it's the final pick. So it would be funny if I just get instantly proven wrong and the first pick of Norway is just Nomad 1. But I highly doubt that. Both teams did seed fairly similarly on this on the qualified Nomad 1, where they seeded 38th and 30th. So again, definitely a map that can be floated. But another strength that maybe Norway could try playing into is the Nomad 4 in itself. This one's a bit more flow aimy, a little bit less tech focused more than anything, so we'll see. Also, absolute banger song that's currently playing. Come With Me to the Other Side. Haven't heard that one in quite a while. And yep, Norway goes into that 3-1-2. Pretty expected pick, going to the CS5 AR8 map. Where, I mean, for sure we'll definitely see Yokes play on the hidden. And honestly, maybe even Anthony W joining him on the hidden. As for the Hard Rocks, I believe we could have Rhetoric coming in either with Hard Rock or Hidden Hard Rock. And we'll probably just have the fourth player running a Nomad. But yeah, whereas for the side of Vietnam, we could potentially see maybe Vola or Hotcat running the hidden. Whereas for the Hard Rock, I think they do have quite a few players who are very comfortable on this type of map with Hard Rock. So we could even potentially see a Hard Rock overmod coming in on this map. I think we might see Vola coming in on the Vola, as known as Vola Volette. So apologies for that. We could see Volette coming in on the hidden and potentially Hotcat coming in on the no mod. Someone like Rulshin as well could definitely also be a very solid shout on something like this, going in on the no mod. But then on Hard Rock, you could have quite a couple players coming in. This map is fairly well known. It's been, I think it's one of the oldest maps in the pool, might even be the oldest. It is a 5-digit ID map, yet it is the oldest by far. If you've been around in tournaments for a couple of years, or if you've just been playing the game since, what, like 2009, 2010, you have probably played this map. It is very, very well known. It is about what you expect from a general 3-mod 2. It seems we already have the roster finalized, so here for now you have Yokes, Reed Horemia, Rhetoric, and Anthony W. So fairly expected rosters coming in for the side of Norway. And for Vietnam, let's see, we should slowly be getting the roster finalized for them. We have Han coming in. And the Nagoyan Grape, Kazazik, I think that's how you say it. Kazazik will probably be opting in for the Hard Rock, if I were to take a guess. And another guy, oh, no, Hotcat, okay, so Hotcat coming in will most likely be on that Nomad, I think. And interesting to not see you, what Willett in for this map. Not feeling comfortable, I guess, on this map on the hidden, which is pretty understandable, but we will probably see the Nagoyan Grape coming in on the hard rock on this. And maybe taking the hidden, potentially, but we'll see. Oh, we see an easy coming in from Hotcat. Okay, this is definitely a map where we can see easy coming in as well. I completely forgot about the possibility. We see 3 easies on the side of Norway! Okay! I love to see this. If I'm honest, I'm not entirely sure what the easy multiplier is on this. So, I've been informed the multiplier is 2x, so this is honestly a very good strategy from Norway. If you have these players who are very comfortable and easy, you definitely want to go in on the easy because it is still worth 2 million. But early on, we see Vietnam finding a couple of early breaks on the Nagoyan Grape, on the hard rock, and Kazazik on the hidden. Rhetoric also finding a break now on that easy, but early doors Norway does have a pretty good advantage ahead in both the accuracy and the combo overall. As we slowly get into the map does slowly pick up in difficulty though. We're not seeing any further players finding any breaks, it's just those 3 breaks from Vietnam, then they're going Grape, Hotcat, and Kazazik. Oh, but Retormia finds a pretty big miss on that easy as well, so I think that will give the combo advantage back over to the side of Vietnam. But you still have Yogspy on the easy hit and FC. Anthony W finding a break on that harder boat, and the Nagoyan Grape does trade it alongside Kazazik. And it's just Hard and Yogspy holding on to their FCs, but Hotcat with a very, very strong recovery on that 360 combo on that easy. But Yogspy is definitely someone you want to have holding onto a combo. Oh, and Han finds a break on the Nomad! That is a very massive break that you did not want to find if you were cheering for the side of Vietnam. And Yogspy finds a break on that easy hidden! So it is now only Hotcat holding onto a very high combo, though you have Reed Horimiya recovering very, very well now on this free mod 2. The stream coming in, Hotcat not finding any difficulties, still very high on that accuracy, and the lead is switching back over to the side of Vietnam, but there's a break coming from Hotcat! And it was not a clean break either, dropping quite a bit of accuracy, and Kazazik also trying to break alongside him. So it is now just Reed Horimiya and Rhetoric holding on to very high combos for the side of Norway, and the Nagoyan Grape for the side of Vietnam. And the lead has now shifted back over to the side of Norway, 120,000 points. And Yogspy just with really, really good accuracy on the easy hit, and as to be expected from someone like him. Hotcat finding another break, the Nagoyan Grape still holding on to his combo, but if we do want to see Vietnam finding a comeback on this, you would need to see a pretty big disaster coming from the side of Norway, but the Nagoyan Grape finds a break, and I think that is over now. And Norway does take their first point in not as a convincing fashion as they might have initially wished for, but still with a pretty solid win of 360,000 points. Yogspy only with that one miss on the easy hidden. Hotcat also with a pretty solid score, 268k on that easy. I believe that's the second highest easy score alongside Reed Horimiya, so yeah. Overall, Norway looking pretty strong on this map, but just finding a couple of unfortunate breaks all throughout this stream mod 2, but now it is time for Vietnam to pick, and I think they might opt into something like the free mod 2 straight away. Not free mod 2, sorry, no mod 2 straight away. Yeah, definitely great to see so many easies coming in on the side of Norway. If there is a team to do it, it definitely is Norway. And especially on a map like V3, where I think everybody on both of these teams have definitely played this map before. Such a classic map in general. I'm interested to see if we will see 3 mod 1 getting picked by Norway. I think it is another pretty solid pick for them, but I'll say it is not their pick right now. maybe we could see Vietnam potentially opting into this DP3 even. It's not tapping by any means of the imagination, it's just a bit more of an ulti map. It is quite a bit more different compared to what we did see in qualifiers, but maybe they just feel a little more confident with that DC. But no, they opt for the Hard Rock 1, which is very, very, very awkward aim. You have a couple of, I think it's quads coming into some very awkward slider jumps and also just some regular jumps. So this map is very uncomfortable to play, I would say. Not very comfy patterns. So we will see how both of these teams fare up. But for the side of Vietnam, I think we'll definitely see Han, Kasazik, another guy, and the fourth player could honestly maybe be probably Volette. Again, I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name. But, yeah, I think that is the most likely roster for the side of Vietnam. But for the side of Norway, you're already getting the plays in here. You'll see, I don't think we'll see Yogspai playing this, but we'll definitely see Wang, Rhetoric, and maybe someone like Bomas coming in. You could also maybe see someone like Breed Mew also on this. But again, it is very awkward aim, so the general plays that you would see on the Hard Rock might not feel like playing this because of just the style of map it is. Let's see if we can even see Anthony W. Yes, I did say that. He does come in. Anthony W in the lobby. But yeah, okay, so the fourth player for Vietnam is Zolokane instead of Willette. And for the side of Norway, we do, I think, actually see Yogspai coming in for this map. So Yogspai, Wang, Anthony W, and Rhetoric coming in for this map. So a fairly expected roster, I would say, for the side, for both teams, honestly. And we should slowly be getting into this map. It is a bit of a longer map, 3.5 minutes of just pure aim. You do have a little bit of a downtime here and there, but overall it's just extremely uncomfortable to play. So I'm interested to see if we will have even any FCs on this, given the nature of the map. And finally getting into the map. Will any players find any difficulties on this intersection of the map? So far it's looking pretty good. We just had another guy finding a very, very early break, but then the Going Grape also finding another break. So it is early doors, slight advantage to Norway, but Wang does eventually trade at least one of those breaks, but then the Going Grape comes back and trades it straight away, so not any recovery being built for them early on in this map. Still 3 FCs to 2, and another guy's pretty much still on that FC. So almost 3 FCs to 3. But this map does only ramp up a little bit more in difficulty. Will we see any breaks coming in on the... I guess it's more flow aim, like... Flow aim? It's hard to describe. No one finding any breaks, which is pretty impressive. As you do say, then the Going Grape does find a break. And it is only them that are finding a break. But they do have the advantage just based off of that accuracy, due to the fact that most of the Norway players are only being around the 96, 97 like. But oh, a massive falling apart from Vietnam. Everybody finding a break, whilst Rhetoric is the only one to trade it alongside Wang. So it's just Yogspai and Anthony W holding on to their FCs on this map, not having the highest of accuracies, but what you want to do is hold on to that combo. It is so important on a map like this, if you hold on to your combo. And Wang finds another break alongside Rhetoric. But these repeated breaks are not the ones that matter. You have just those 2 FCs on both Yogspai and Anthony W, but Yogspai does find a break, and this accuracy will now start playing a part, as once you find that break and you don't have the combo anymore, your score is kind of stuck. at the point it is. But Anthony W still holding onto that FC, which is so important here. Vietnam is starting to pull it back very slowly, given their accuracy and slight combo advantage, as they do have 3 players holding on to some pretty solid combos. But as I say that, Kazazik does have a break, but Anthony W finds a break with that FC! And now the combo advantage is fully in the favor of the side of Vietnam now. You have Rhetoric on a pretty solid recovery, but then again, it's just 1 recovery up against 2 on the side of another guy in Han. And Wang does find a break on that 200 combo, but another guy does trade it straight back, and it's just Han holding onto any sort of combo, and it is perfectly matched by the side of Rhetoric. So the score lead will now stabilize it very slightly. Yeah, Vioxpy recovering pretty well on that 200 combo, which will allow Norway to stop pulling out a bit of a lead. You see another guy in Kazazik finding a break, but Han still holding onto that all-important combo. But you just have to keep your eyes on those combos from Rhetoric and Yolkspie, which are already carrying the score for the side of Norway at this stage in the map. Only a quarter left. Getting into a couple more of the zigzag jump patterns. No one finding any sort of breaks on this section. And then the Gliding Grape finds a break. And that's definitely not what you want to see if you're cheering for the side of Vietnam. Yolkspie still holding to his very strong recovery alongside Rhetoric. And not really showing any signs of letting off, finding a lot of accuracy jumps. So Rhetoric does find a break. And this is a chance that Vietnam needs going into the final 8th of the map. The score is just going slightly in the favor of the side of Vietnam. But Han needs to hold on to his combo, and Yolkspie really needs to find a break if Vietnam does want to throw this back over towards their side. But we're getting so close to the end of the map, getting into one of the final zigzags. No breaks coming in, only 70,000 points left. And Han holding onto his combo, but unfortunately just not enough. 60,000 points in the favor of Norway, taking this Hard Rock 1 by the skin of their teeth. And wow, just such a close map, pretty much all throughout. Han finding the top score at 586,000. And for the side of Norway, you just have 3 players on 500,000 points, which is something that really helps at the side of Norway. Having the 3 players just very comfortable in this map, just locked in with their combos. Also, they did suffer a bit more in the accuracy department. They were able to pull through with their combos and just about barely able to take this map. So 2-0 up, a very early breakpoint for the side of Norway, and this is a point where you really want to look into converting it straight away. And I think you might want to pick into something like the Hidden 3, and I want to see the Free Mod 1, but I don't know if it's necessarily their best pick right now. For something like Hidden 3, No Mod 4 even maybe, No Mod 3 would be pretty good picks from the side of Norway. To try and convert this breakpoint straight away, get that early advantage, go 3-0 up on a best of 9. It's such a comfortable lead, though it can obviously be completely overturned just by 1 breakpoint, but you just really want to get that early 3-0 lead, get that early mental advantage as well. Yeah, but we do see that Hidden 3 coming in straight away for Norway, and 2 standout plays you'll definitely want to look out for in this map are definitely Anthony W and Yolkspie. Just 100%. Those are 2 very great players on something like this. Yolkspie getting ganked by the previous owners of their apartment. That is unfortunate. Seems that Norway already have their roster in for this Hidden 3. Again, it's a map they should be quite comfortable on. So yeah, Yolkspie and Anthony W definitely quite expected. Someone like Rhetoric also pretty strong on a map like this, and Wang coming in for Norway as well. And for the side of Vietnam, we do have, I believe it will be probably a very similar roster to what we saw on the Free Mod 2 potentially. But we will see. And so far it does seem to be, but we did just have one of the players leave. Bullet and Kazazik, I think, are pretty solid picks to go in for this Hidden 3. But again, this map I think generally is a bit more favored to the side of Norway. especially when you look at the main stage of the 4WC roster, something like, again, I know I keep mentioning the names, NCW notes, but just, if there's a map that if there's a mod pool they're known for, it's definitely the hidden mod pool. Yeah, it seems like the roster for Vietnam has been finalized. You have Nguyen coming in, Wallet, Kazazik, and Han. This map is only 2 minutes long. It's a bit more, I guess, flow-aimy tech focused, more than anything. Should be something that Norway should. It should be something like the bread and butter. Getting into the map now. It's in 3, La Novella. Let's see. Early on, we see Han finding a couple of breaks already, but it is very, very on. It shouldn't matter much at all. Just a little bit of build up into the map. You already do see what type of map it is going to be. They're already having a tiny bit of flow aim. Now a bit of a break session though. Anthony W does find the first break for the side of Norway, so the combos are, I believe, very even. You just have Han on that very, very, very early break. You still have the going great pulling onto their SS. But yeah, just a little more build up after the break before we actually get into the main part of the map. Rhetoric finding a break though on the build up. That is definitely what you want to be seeing. And early does Vietnam does have an advantage, but Wallet does trade that break. Will we see any more breaks in the build-up? Kazazik does find another break, so it is just 1 FC on the side of Vietnam up against 2 on the side of Norway. The rank does trade that break, but then the going great finds another break, so it is only 1 FC on the side of Yoke up against nothing on the side of Vietnam, hitting most of this more tricky section. A bit more tech focus, and we do see Yoke finding quite a bit of an accuracy drop, but holding onto that combo just about. The score lead is pretty much non-existent due to the recovery combos on the side of Vietnam. So maybe it will start playing away a little more, but that accuracy on Yoke is really gonna affect things. But that combo is so important. If they do find a break, it will be game over. But the score lead is starting to go farther and farther in the favor of Norway, as we did see Kazazik, Wallet, and Han finding breaks on the side of Vietnam. So it is now looking extremely good for the side of Norway. Bull looks like we'll be able to close out this FC as we get into the final, I believe, final 8 of this map. 900 combo win, hitting the more tricky flowing section. We do see Rhetoric finding a break, but Yoke still holding on very, very strong and looking to close out this FC alongside a very strong cover on the side of Mr. Wang. And Yoke does unfortunately find a break right at the end, but almost FCing, and Wang with that reverse stroke as well, only finding that one miss. But again, Vietnam being very competitive on this map, only losing by 300,000 points. Just one break less from someone like Kazazik might have been able to sway the tides in the favor of Vietnam, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But there's the breakpoint consolidated for the side of Norway, but it is back to Vietnam for them to find another pick. And I think the best remaining picks would probably be something like the number 2 or the DT3. Vietnam should be pretty solid at something like that. We will see. Just waiting a little longer for that pick. Honestly, considering they picked Hard Rock 1, they might even try up to Nomad 1. It is a bit of a higher BPM map, but they go for Hard Rock 3. opting to focus a bit more on this hard rock pool. Which I guess does make sense. They were pretty close to winning on that hard rock one, and Vietnam just really doesn't want to go into, I guess, any sort of hidden or any sort of gimmick. So this hard rock 3 is a little more strange, I'd say. Yeah, this map, the tournament difficulty on this was originally the DT4 for Conyo Cup. So seeing this on Hard Rock, again, it is a completely different difficulty, so yeah. I believe the 20 difficulty on this is just a way more nerfed version of the original version. But for the side of Norway, I can definitely see them pretty much having a very similar roster to what they had in Hard Rock 1, maybe changing out one player. So we'll most likely see Rhetoric, Yox, Wang, and Anthony W as well. So again, definitely could maybe switch out one player, and I think for Vietnam we'll see probably the exact same roster that we saw for Hard Rock 1. So again, I think maybe you could swap someone like, honestly, maybe Kazazik for the side of Willette, but we will see. Okay, we do have the roster finalized for the side of Norway, and it is exactly the same that we saw on Hard Rock 1, which is Yoxpai, Wang, Anthony W, and Rhetoric. And yep, there is that swap that I was talking about for the side of Vietnam, with Willette coming in for the side of Kazazik. But yeah, getting into this Hard Rock 3. It's a bit more of, I guess, it's very low BPM ult. Only sitting at 139 BPM. But let's see if any breaks we found early on so far, looking very good for both of these teams. No finding a break on that flowing section, which is very surprising. The Willette does find a break straight after. It's just very unfortunate to see hitting one of the, I guess, harder earlier sections of the map, but finding a break straight after. But very, very early doors, this map is almost 3 minutes long, so early breaks like those shouldn't matter too much in the long run. Though, of course, we're talking a couple of thousand points, of course, will make a difference, but now we see another repeated break coming in from the side of Willette, which is definitely going to start to matter a little bit more to that score. Though Mr. Wang does find a trade, so it is very even early on, though another guy does find a break on that triangle. Very unfortunate break. But everyone else seems to be holding on fairly well, though Anthony W finds a break on that slider alongside Wang. So it is 2 FCs up against 2, and Vietnam with a slight upper hand on the combo. But the accuracies are also in the march of Vietnam, but we see Wang finding another break, but the Nagoyan Grape does trade it. And that is one of the FCs, but Rhetoric does trade it as well, so it is 1 FC up against 1, just Yoxpai up against Han. But Han does have the accuracy advantage. Vietnam in general just have a massive accuracy lead. You have Yoxpai and Wang down at 94% compared to Vietnam, where the lowest accuracy you have is sitting at almost 97%. Another guy finds another break though. And it is very, very close, but it is in the favor of Vietnam, just about in the halfway stage of this map. And Rhetoric finding a couple more breaks on these triangles, and Vietnam are looking very, very good on this map so far. Though it is still very, very close, but Han finds a break on that FC, and Yoxpai is still holding on, and another guy finds another break on that recovery combo, so it is all for Yoxpai now. Yoxpai is the only person holding on to a very high combo, the only FC in the lobby, dropping a lot of accuracy, but what matters most is that combo. Yoxpai just the combo gamer. Wang was finding a break, another guy also finding another break, but it's just Yogspy still holding on. The score has shifted over to the side of Norway, but it is only sitting at 50,000 points. Hun finding another break, and the combos are still surprisingly even. As you see, Rhetoric finding another break before that, finding a break on that 500 combo does unfortunately spoil the chances for Vietnam to find a comeback on this map, as Yogspy is looking very good to close out this FC, getting into the later stages of the map. And Vietnam so close yet so far, Volette finding another break, but Yogspy just coming out on top with that FC. 220,000 points, but in the favor of Norway, but it could have honestly gone to Vietnam had it not been for one or two unfortunate breaks, but that's unfortunately the way the cookie crumbles, and Yogspy closing out that FC. Really nice score from the side of Yokes. But also, definitely special mention to players like Han and the Going Great with some very, very solid scores. Well, that almost coming in clutch with that combo towards the tail end of the map, but unfortunately just not enough. And no 1-4 pick comes straight away from Norway on the match point, which I think makes very good sense. I think this is a very, very good pick for the side of Norway. No one team topped into that hit and one, it being a lot more consistency focus. It's just 4 minutes of straight consistency in your face. So, yeah. Well, this number 4, again, I think we'll definitely see someone like Anthony W coming in. Maybe we'll see Reed Horimiya potentially in for this. So Anthony W Yokes, maybe Rhetoric as well. Wang, also another pretty good shout on this. Just waiting for the players from Vietnam to come in. And I think we might see a similar roster to what we did on Free Mod 2 for the side of Vietnam. Or maybe even what we saw in the Soft Hard Rock 3. Again, maybe having that interchangeable player, having Voilette maybe coming out for someone else. But overall, I think we'll probably see a very, very similar roster. But yeah, I should mention, this is actually a custom song. An original, I should say, even. So thank you very much to Cryocam and Sugosugi for making this song for us, and thank you so much for Kairi for mapping this alongside Net Nisanya and well, of course himself, Kairi. So yeah, Net Nisanya and Kairi, thank you very, very much for mapping this absolutely amazing original song for this 4WC 2026 group stage. But it seems like we do also have the rosters finalized. We have Norway, for Norway we have O, Wang, Anthony W, and Rhetoric, so Yogspy not coming in for this Nomad 4. And for Vietnam we have Willette, another guy, Han, and the Going Great, which I believe is the exact same roster we saw for Hard Rock 3. Yeah, this Nomad 4, a little more tech flowing focus, so something that should play into the strengths of Norway fairly well. Being historically very, very good at flowing in general over the past many 4WC years. But early on we find a couple, we see a break coming in from Mr. Wang and another guy. But everyone else looking pretty good on the map so far. Again, both of them finding repeated breaks. Ooh, but never mind, the break on Wang was just a Vantra break, so ignore that. Norway looking pretty good early on, having the slight accuracy lead by a couple of percent, though Wang does find a break. I don't think that was Mantra this time. So the combo is very slightly in the favor of Vietnam, but as I say that, Bullet does find a break on that FC. Whilst all Anthony W and Rhetoric are still holding onto the FCs for the side of Norway. Another guy finding another repeated break, then the going Greg finding another break on the side of Vietnam, so it is 3 FCs up against only 1 on the side of Han. And it is looking very bad for the side of Vietnam. But there's still hope, we're only halfway into the map. There's definitely an avenue for comeback, but you would need to see quite a few breaks coming from the side of Norway, and not any more repeated breaks for the side of Vietnam. Another guy finds that break once again. And it is looking very, very good for the side of Norway. They're looking poised to take this in a very convincing fashion. Will they be able to close out this map though? The final third coming in very shortly. Already a 350,000 score lead, and it will only accelerate as we get further and further into the map. They're all those final break. This is what you need if you're cheering for Vietnam, but it might be too little too late. Wang does find another break, but Anthony W and Rhetoric just really holding onto these FCs with pretty good accuracy, sitting at above 98% accuracy. So it is looking very, very good for them. Han finds a break on that FC, and I think that unfortunately spells the end for the side of Vietnam in this matchup. That break was all that Vietnam had, the only FC. Rhetoric finding a final break near the tail end of the map, but done more than enough for their team. And I see Anthony W potentially closing out the FC on that 98% accuracy as well. But GG, well played to the side of Vietnam. Norway taking this no one for in such dominant fashion. And, oh, by actually, that score he jumped to over 1 million. Oh, it's just a couple of displays coming right at the end. But, yep, Anthony W with that FC, 98.46% accuracy. Rhetoric with, again, you have 3 players with very similar accuracy on the side of Norway, 98.5 and 98.52. But, yeah, that is it for this match. Norway sweeping Vietnam 5-0, which does, honestly, bring a lot more excitement to, I think, another match they do have today, which is up against Russia, which is at 15 UTC, I believe. Again, the C20 versus C12, but it is a match that Norway can definitely cause an upset in. But, yep, I believe that is it for this match. Once again, congratulations to the side of Norway for taking this match. C20 up against C22 in such a dominant fashion. But that is it for me, and make sure you keep tuned to this Twitch channel and also the other, I think, second and third Twitch channels, as we do have a lot of matches going on this week. So stay tuned for all of them, and I will see you in a couple more of them. Goodbye, everyone.